So during every bull run, it seems to repeat the same pattern. So this is what happens. The stocks go up a lot. The S&P 500 goes up a lot, as you can see. Over the past year, over 13%. Over the past 5 years, over 80%. Now, the S&P 500 are some of the largest companies around the world. When we see the S&P 500 go up, we get very excited as investors, and basically that excitement leads to confidence and it leads to an influx of money into the stock market overall, not just the S&P 500. And during the height of a bull run, what you see is that you get a lot of new investors investing into the market, investing into companies that you may have never heard of, or companies that are severely overvalued. And sometimes these beginners get a bit too confident. And I've seen this too many times before. Now, when things are going well in the stock market, the optimism really does help to pump up stocks that would otherwise probably not be valued so high. Let's take Nvidia, for example, one of the biggest companies in the entire world. You can say it's a great company. You can look into the financials. It's probably a good company, but is it really worth what we're paying for? Can we really justify this parabolic increase in value? And can this company or any other company keep increasing their profits like we have seen with Nvidia? So a few years down the line, what happens to Nvidia if they stop announcing higher and higher profits? Well, then it becomes very hard to justify the very high share price. I'm not picking on any company in particular, but we have seen during this bull market the valuations of certain companies going through the roof, and this is an Nvidia AI effect. Essentially, any company that has anything to do with the words AI, artificial intelligence, immediately gets a bunch of investors investing into it, hoping that it's the next thing since sliced bread. We may well be in an AI bubble or not. It's almost impossible to tell before it happens. But currently, I'm seeing some of the craziest things come out from beginner investors. So in this video, I want to share my reasons as to why I don't think you can be a beginner investor plus an excellent investor. So the investing platform I'm currently using for these videos is Trading 212, and if you would like to sign up to Trading 212 and receive a free fractional share worth up to £100, all you have to do is to follow the link in the description box down below. Alternatively, if you've signed up in the past 10 days but haven't received your free fractional share, all you have to do is to press the 3 horizontal line menu over here. Scroll all the way down until you see the section Use Promo Code. And in this section, just enter my code JUBAIR. Now, we've all been there. We have been a beginner at some point in time. Now, it comes naturally as a beginner to want more than the market average. Now, when I say market average, the S&P 500 is used as a benchmark for returns. Over the past 100 years plus, the S&P 500 has returned an average of around 9 to 10% a year. This is averaged out. Some years will be higher and some years will be negative. If you can get 9% plus every year compounded over the long term, then you are well and truly on your way to generating long-term wealth. However, remember I told you that beginners start once they see the stock market already booming, where we see companies like Nvidia making triple-digit growth year on year. Then beginners tend to look at these outliers and expect more than 9% returns, which is absolutely fine. I think everyone should have high standards. However, the thing is, because you are a beginner, you have absolutely zero lived experience with the stock market. You have felt zero pain from losing money on individual stocks, or zero pain from losing money from even holding something like the S&P 500. Now, when you actually go through some loss, even if it's a 3% loss, that is the lived experience that gets your neurons fired up, and that links with your instincts and reminds you next time, remember that company that you bought that went down 60%. Let's try and not repeat that mistake. As a beginner, you have just teleported into a time period where you had no control over what happened before, and you have no control over what happens after. Now, I've seen some very crazy things on TikTok. I've seen teenagers spend their entire inheritance on buying individual stocks. I've seen beginners call themselves professional investors after having invested for a couple of months. I've also seen an influx of influencers making money off of beginners because whatever they pick right now seems to go up during a bull market. Now, as a beginner, there are so many biases that are playing against you. Recency bias, confirmation bias. For example, a lot of people are saying that Nvidia went up because of so and so, and if you do your research, you'll be able to pick new companies like Nvidia that are going to go up 50,000% over X amount of years. However, another bias that happens in the stock market is confirmation bias. You can do whatever research you want to do. You can look into the profit and loss statement or a balance sheet, and you can actually make any number look favorable to you just because the stock is going up. You can use that as a confirmation bias for your next purchase, because you can say, remember that one time I looked at Nvidia's books, they were fine. I'm going to use this same research on my next company and they must be surely going up. However, the stock market doesn't work like this. A lot of experts agree currently that the stock market is overvalued. However, just because something is overvalued doesn't mean that people will not invest into it. And ultimately, the stock market is a bunch of people buying things and then selling things. Now, if you're a beginner, it would probably make more sense to stick to a strategy that has been tested over the long term to actually generate long-term wealth. For example, this is not financial advice, but a lot of people would suggest that perhaps as a beginner, you may want to invest into the entire stock market at once, because the stock market overall historically has returned, 7 to 10% over the long term. Now remember, the average returns is what makes most people long-term wealth. There are some cases of people picking individual stocks and becoming rich. However, again, we're using biases to inform our next decision. We're looking at the winners only. This is called survivorship bias. This is where we only look at people who have won and think this is normal and can apply to us. One thing that we don't take into consideration is that the survivors right now that are rich off buying individual stocks, they have bought those stocks at very, very low valuations. So even if the stock market crashes, they still won't lose money because of how low they got into it. And of course, a lot of luck does play a factor into that. Just because they picked a company that has gone up by, 10,000% doesn't necessarily mean they can do it again or that their findings are repeatable. Remember, I'm a scientist. Now, obviously, no one wants to invest into a global fund that only gives around 7% per year when there are companies that are going up by 200-300% in a few months. Also, there are people who are professionals who are making money off of individual stocks. But again, let's not use survivorship bias to inform our decisions. Now, I have a friend called Michael Taylor, and he is literally a professional trader. That's how he makes his living. And he isn't profitable all the time, and he does tons and tons of research into stocks on a daily basis. And he has multiple screens. And the thing is, if you asked him what the best way to be invested is, he probably wouldn't even tell you individual stocks, just because he knows in order to get it right, there is a lot of risk. There's potential that you'll lose money, but also it requires tons and tons of research, not just a one-off research. You have to know when you want to buy, you have to know when to sell, and you have to know when to cut your losses. I think you guys should really hear his perspective as a professional trader, and I highly recommend subscribing to his channel. So just under where it says my name is also his name. And that's the thing, really. I've seen tons of beginners tell me that they know exactly what they are doing because they have done their own research. And unfortunately, it's very hard to, believe someone who is new to investing, who has just jumped into the market, is doing the correct research that will give them the confidence to invest into certain stocks. Now, I was thinking about this all of last night, and I want to coin a new term. This is called the beginner investor fallacy. Now, as a beginner investor, like I said, you don't really choose when you started investing. You might have heard that the stock market is going up and then you stop. But the thing is, in order to become an investor, to go from nothing invested to something invested, you have to invest into something. Now, if you don't invest into something, you can't call yourself an investor. And if you're new, you're going to have to put your money into something. And that means you are rushing to buy a stock just so you can be an investor. Can you see where this is going? Now, beginner investors fall for this all the time. They want to get their toes into the market, so they will buy a company at any valuation. And like I said, the gurus online have already bought those stocks for much lower. The beginner buys at the top. The market falls flat on its face. The gurus don't really lose money over the long term. And the beginner basically loses everything, including their trust in stocks and shares. Now, the thing is, if you are new to investing and you've chosen a strategy of long-term investing into a broad market index, you could start investing now. Let's say it's the top of the market. Then the market crashes. You will have some pain. You will have to get over the fact that, you just started investing and you've lost around 30% of everything. But history shows time and time again that the markets overall do tend to recover, and realistically, if you have a long enough time horizon for investing, then this really shouldn't affect you too much. So make sure to check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you in the next video.